everyone, I'm Catherine from Knit the Stars and welcome to the first video in my Knitting Unravelled series. Today we'll be learning how to cast on. All this means is making the loops on your needles, which are called stitches, that you're going to knit. There are a few different ways of doing this, but we're going to start with the most common one, the LongTail CastOn. When you cast on, you're not going to start from the very tip of your yarn. Instead, you'll leave a length of the yarn after the end for you to cast on with. This is called the tail. The length of the tail you need varies depending on the thickness of your yarn and the number of stitches you want to cast on. For today, go ahead and measure out a tail about the length of your arm. This should give you a long enough tail to work with for most projects you'll knit. Now, with your left hand, make an L shape with your thumb and index finger. Curl your other three fingers as if you were making a fist. With your right hand, pick up your yarn to about the point you measured to with your arm and place the strand over the L shape so that the tail is coming towards you. The other side of the strand, the one with most of the yarn attached to it, is called the working strand. Now that the yarn is positioned over your left hand, take your other three fingers and grip both the working yarn and the tail. Curl them back into a fist when you have done this. The yarn should now form a triangle shape between your index finger, your thumb, and your other three fingers. You want to make sure that you're holding the yarn tightly enough that the edges of the triangle don't droop. Once the yarn is set up in your left hand, pick up one of your needles in your right hand. Think of this like holding a pencil, but a little bit further away from the tip. Even though actual knitting requires two needles, you'll only need one to cast on. Set your needle on top of the strand between your thumb and index finger. Your needle should make a lowercase T shape with the yarn. Now, push the needle down on the strand until it reaches your middle finger, which should still be holding the tail and working strand. Without lifting it off of the other strand, bring your needle to the left and under the side of the triangle between your middle finger and thumb, bringing it up until it touches the tip of your thumb. There should now be two loops of yarn on your needle. Now, move your needle to the right past the strand on your index finger and around and under this strand to the left. This should make a third loop on your needle. At this point, you should have a loop wrapped around your thumb to the left side of your needle. Use your thumb to move this loop to the right and over the tip of your needle so only two loops remain. Now, take your thumb out of the loop. With the last three fingers on your left hand, pull on both the working yarn and the tail until both stitches are tight on your needle. You may need to use your index finger and thumb to help you tighten. You now have two stitches on your needle. To make more stitches, we're going to repeat the same steps. The first time we did this created two stitches, but every other time we'll create only one stitch. Make that same L shape again with your left hand, with the working yarn draped over your index finger and the tail draped over your thumb. Grip both strands with your other three fingers to recreate that triangle. Bring your needle down to the left and under the strand between your thumb and middle finger. Move the needle to the right over the strand in your index finger and then left underneath it. Finally, bring the loop around your thumb over the tip of your needle. Pull your thumb out of the loop and use your fingers to pull on the tail and working strand so the third stitch is tight on your needle. Make sure that when you're casting on, you're not pulling your stitches too tight because this will make them a lot harder to knit later. A good way to check that all of your stitches are loose enough is to make sure that you can slide them all the way back and forth across the needle without them getting stuck. Keep using these same steps to cast on more stitches until you have the number of stitches you want on your needle. If you need to, feel free to slow down this video so you can cast on along with me at your own speed. Thank you all for learning how to cast on with me today, and I hope you'll follow along with the rest of my Knitting Unraveled videos.